Good morning. I tell you, just getting Edie and I up as early as we had to get up to look like this, that was a miracle. You're in for a real treat today, ladies and gentlemen, because wherever Edie hand is, there's joy, there's happiness, and there's giving. Now, I understand that you have her bio, and I want you to know that you need to read it. She's a mother, an author, a chef, a speaker, a businesswoman, a TV and radio talk show hostess. She has her own foundation. What really caught my attention when I met Edie were two things. She was once Nurse Jane, Nurse Jane, on As the World Turns. That caught my attention, and she's Elvis Presley's first cousin. Yes. But the Edie that I know is the one that I want to introduce. The Edie that I know is totally focused on helping others in pain while she herself is in pain. The Edie that I know is a true characteristic of the Southern toughness that Southern women have, that steel magnolia. Never give up and never let anyone or anything rob you of your joy. The Edie I know gives credit to the strong women that came before her in her life growing up, and the strong women that are still coming into her life each and every day to give her the encouragement that she needs. We all need to be encouraged. And the Edie that I know has a great sense of humor. Edie, I've come up with you a new project, a new t-shirt, because almost every time that Edie and I talk to one another, she'll say, "I'm tired, but I'm inspired." Welcome, Miss Edie Hand. She's tired, but she's inspired.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm so glad to be here. First of all, thank you, Patsy, for the sweet remarks. And I want to thank you, Mayor, for inviting me to be a part of such a wonderful occasion and to recognize the head table and the chamber members and all the other distinguished guests. And I know everyone's wondering why I'm carrying a sword right now. But before I tell you the story, I want you to know that I want to talk about the pearls of hope. You know, as Patsy said, as Southern women, we have to have some toughness. So I was taught by a lot of great Southern women that we had to have grit. And you know that just a speck of grit in an oyster is irritated until it forms the right pearl for just the right time in life. So I wanted to share the analogies of what that meant. First of all, I want to talk to you about the white pearls. And the white pearls in life, to me, are about giving someone second chances. Now, for some of us, we need third and fourth. But the main thing is, I have so believed in this, I want to read this to you, is in Psalms 51:10. "Creating me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." And in Matthew 6:10, "Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." As of this past week, on Friday, we were reminded of the most darkest time in history was the crucifixion of Jesus. And what people, and as we do sometimes too, is focus on the negative. Before we see that on Friday, Sunday is coming. Sunday's coming. And when Sunday comes, our faith is restored. But until we get there, sometimes we forget to release and let it go. Well, it was about 4:07 in the morning, back a couple of months ago, and I'd been going through a very difficult time. I had just created and finished producing The Last Ride, which was from my book of The Last Christmas Ride. And as you read my bio, the story was of about a sister's love. I had lost my 3 young brothers at an early age. And so I was reliving everything I kind of put aside for 40 years. And a volcano was about to erupt. And I didn't know it, but at 4:07, a young attorney, young lady that I'd not heard from, and she certainly wouldn't be texting me at 4:07 in the morning, but she said, I could not sleep, and God told me to send this to you. And when you wake up, little did you know I was awake, that this fits you. No grit, no pearl. And she had something in it that was about the sword. And she said that girls with swords can make a difference. You see, when this stands this way, it is a cross. And that we all have to forge our cross that we carry on our own backs, that give us another chance to be who God's purpose in life for us is to be. Well, as I listened to Lisa Bevere, that I did not know then, that is a wife of a pastor, John Bevere, and is a pastor herself, that taught me in the early hours of the morning that if I didn't get up and get my grit back, I'd have no pearls. And it doesn't matter if you're 25 or if you're my age at 65. The season is finding out how to carry your cross, which is so important. And see, this cross of this forging to be a sword, I didn't realize I had it in the corner of my bedroom. If that wasn't a sign for me, that I looked over and saw it. I found it in a closet sometime back. Then she was telling me about finding the lion in us if we're a man, and the lioness if we're a woman. And I looked on that sword, it had a lion's head. I was getting really goosebumps. So the lioness in me, when I couldn't pray for myself, have you ever been there? I had friends, and friends like family that were praying for me and said, you got this, girl, you can do this. And you see, then I remember the pink pearls in my life, the fun that Patsy was talking about. Now let me tell you, anybody that knows me well knows I like to laugh, and I laugh hard. And as a young girl growing up in a little place called Burnout, does anybody know where Burnout is? Well, Burnout, Alabama, is between Red Bay, Alabama, and Russellville, Alabama, and it is the backside of nowhere. And I told them I still live in the backside of nowhere, but I'm telling you, it was a great place to grow up. My brothers and I used to ride our horses and write plum on the sign, burnt plum out, because nothing was happening. But anyway, from that pink pearl of having fun, I want you to know that I had the privilege, I have had in my lifetime, to meet some very extraordinary people and get to do some really extraordinary things. So in that area, I am very rich. And you see that of all the people that I met, this one lady I wanted to meet, her name was Phyllis Diller. Does anybody remember Phyllis Diller? Well, I laugh a lot like her, and I'm not going to bore you with that right now, but I can tell you that I was excited. I'd interviewed Miss Patsy for my book, Women in True Grit. So I was in Los Angeles, and I was interviewing Johnny Carson's wife. Her name is Joanne. Of course, all of his wives were Joanne, but she was the smart one. She got the rights to all his comedy work. So Joanne was friends with Phyllis Diller, and she knew I wanted to meet her. And she said, would you like to interview Phyllis Diller? I said, are you kidding me? She said, I'm going to call her right now. So she called her, and I got on the phone with Phyllis. She said, well, can you come to my house tomorrow? And I said, well, what time? I didn't mean to say, could I check my calendar? I was going. So I got my son, which he's an actor in Los Angeles, and at that time was an opening act for Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I said, can you take off? Would Jimmy let you take me over? And he said, I'm sure Jimmy will let me take you over to meet Phyllis Diller. So I went up, as we were driving, he said, now you're not going to embarrass me, are you? I said, of course not, me. So anyway, we got to Phyllis's home, this sprawling estate in Brentwood, California. I am so excited, I can hardly stand it. And her housekeeper meets us at the door, and everything's fun. And she has a red kitchen and even a leg under her lamp. I'm going, that is really out there. But anyway, it was fun to sit down with her, and she said, I realized that I heard a birdie told me that you could do a little Phyllis. So I looked over at my son, and I reached down into my bag, because a good drama girl carries her props. And I had a boa. So I did a little Phyllis for Phyllis. So we have a big laugh. And then she said, before I tell you my story, I want you to walk into my living room. And there was a life-size portrait of this gentleman that changed her life. You see, she was in a comedy club telling jokes, and nobody was laughing. So on the third night, she said, I kept seeing this man with a suit on, and I wondered what in the world he was doing in this dump. So on the last night, she said, I'm getting my pocketbook and I'm leaving. Nobody gonna pay me no way. So she gets her pocketbook to leave, and this gentleman with a suit on is rushing to her. Miss Diller, Miss Diller. She turns around. It's Bob Hope. He said, here's my card. I'm going to change your life. Come see me tomorrow. You'll never sleep in that car again. I watched you leave with 5 kids and a husband that was sick. He changed her life. All it takes, young people, you'll never know who you're sitting next to, who can change your life and give you a hand up. Because that's all any of us need at any time of our life. When something is so tough, you don't think you can get up and breathe. You know what I learned, even from slaying the demons with swords, is to have that grit, is it is so important to keep the humor in our lives and to know that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know. We don't know next week. I may not live 10 years from now. I'm a 4-time cancer survivor, but I'm here. But I tell you this, as Phyllis would say, today is important. And if we have peace and joy in our heart today, God's taking care of tomorrow in the next decade for us. And I wanted to read to you this, is that in John 15, 9 through 12, as the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. It is so important that you have your joy so that it may complete you. My command is this: love each other as I love you. Joy is a direct obedience for us. And next, I have 2 more pearls I'll share with you. Was a silver pearl in my life. As Patsy said, strong women were in my life. My grandmother Alice, which was Elvis's grandmother, Minnie Mae, that lived at Graceland's sister, and those 2 seasoned women. Now, they like to dip, snuff, and tell those stories. And they were funny. And I learned a lot as a 16-year-old girl hanging out with Elvis. I learned a lot about rock and roll, but I learned a lot about paying life forward. And how important it was to help someone in a time of need. But my grandmother did something so great for me when I was a young girl. She bought me the book of the Velveteen Rabbit. And she taught me about being real. Taught me how important it was to show my heart. No matter who I was with, or what I did. If it was a president of the United States, if I was hanging out with someone cleaning the floors, because we're all just folks. And so, it's like the rabbit and the rocking horse. When a child loves you for a long, long time, it just becomes real. If we believe in sight unseen, it is real. And she taught me about the rides in life that helped me to do these ride books. That sometime in life we're going to fall in a no-mud hole, and we're going to get dirty. But she says, you can get up and wash it off, girl. And when I'm not here, and you're trying to get around a curve on that road of life and that highway, know that you can do it. You can do hard things. And she said, you can turn those hard things into beautiful situations. What a wonderful bit of wisdom that country woman gave me. It served me well to go to my dark pearls. The black pearl is beautiful, and you can find beauty in dark places. As I said, my 3 young brothers and I used to ride our horses after school. We had 40 acres in this country little place in Burnout. And we would go to our favorite place after school and share our dreams, what we were going to grow up and be and do. But on a short scenario of this, that was not to be. David died at 19 in a car wreck. Philip died at 23 in a car wreck. And my brother Terry was stricken with an aneurysm in the middle of the brain. And then a tumor came as he slowly lost every motor skill he's had. And I helped to caregiver for him for 7 years. He said, would you tell our story? Would you encourage people to be kind to one another, to love one another? And you, my sister, have the purest of all hearts. For me, that was a tough time. But you know what I learned from them that I can share with you today is I learned from David about laughter. I've kept laughter in my life in the midst of the storms. And from my brother, Philip, I learned about the tuggings on my heart. I can tell you that he found Jesus one night on an old country road to my grandmother's church when he was doing things he shouldn't have been doing, but no one turned him away at that country church. And then there was my brother Terry that taught me the most about courage. Little did I know that I would live longer than them. And I would have to use this sword today to fight a different kind of demon. But I tell you, it doesn't matter what it is. If someone has betrayed you, you've lost someone through death, or you've lost a position, you can find the true pearls within you. Because I tell you this, I'm going to read this to you, Psalms 90:12. Teach us to realize the briefity of life, so that we may grow in wisdom. I'll leave you with the gold pearls. The gold pearls are this, if you think about it, in Psalm 62:5-8. My soul waits in silence for God only, for my hope is from Him. He only is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be shaken. O God, my salvation and my glory, rest. He is our refuge. I learned how important it was in life to endure. You can slay those demons no matter what age or stage of your life you are in. Because if, like on Friday, we looked at all the negative and forging a cross to bear on our own back, but what we got to realize that Sunday is coming. Today may be your Friday, but Sunday is coming. And no matter your situation or a circumstance, we cannot change it, but we can change our attitude toward it. I hope that you go out and you realize that without no grit, you're going to have no pearl. And I thank you for having me today.
Edie, thank you for sharing those pearls of wisdom with us. As a token of our appreciation, the city of Vestavia would like you to have this.
I need all the angels I can get.
Thank you, Edie, for your inspiring message. We certainly appreciate it and appreciate you sharing with us today.